Hi everyone, Amy here, and I have a fun layered up stenciling card to share with you today. And it's going to be using this brand spanking new Betta fish stencil from A Colorful Life Designs. It's part of the June release. You can see it has the outer and inner portion. I will also be using the Stormy Wave stencil from the release. I have a card base here and my blending brushes, and the name of this stencil is called King Tidal Wave, and this little guy is the reason for the name. Mary Kay at A Colorful Life Designs named this betta fish stencil after my daughter's betta fish, and she was to the moon excited. Here's a photo of the card that I'm going to make for you today. As you can see, I did use a couple different stencils to create this single layer card, and I am going to use these Carnival ink pads from Catherine Pooler. Now to start, I'm going to use the outer portion of the betta fish stencil, and I'm going to just mask off the parts where I don't want ink, and then I'm going to lay down a really light teal color throughout this opening, and that's just basically so that the detail lines on the other portion of the stencil aren't so stark white. I want it to be not quite as in your face. So when you add this first little layer with some, light color, maybe some residual ink, then it won't be so much of a contrast with all the little detail lines on the next part of the stencil that you use. So I'm just kind of using a light hand and filling this in, being sure to kind of get all the nooks and crannies, because I want that full definition of that outer shape to show on my card base. Now it's very pale on the screen, but I assure you it's there. It's just a very light teal blue. And then I have some pixie spray to hold down the detail portion of the stencil onto my card base. And I picked out a collection of colors from that Carnival stamp set, or ink pad set. And I'm just going to line this up with the outline that I already ink blended. And then I'll press it down with my brayer tool just to make sure it's nice and stuck down to my card base. Now, if you aren't familiar with pixie spray, it is a temporary fixative. It won't hurt your cardstock, but you do want to give it a minute after you spray it. You want to spray it outside or in a well-ventilated area, like in a splat box or something like that. And then just give it a minute, and then it gets tacky and it will hold down onto your project without being permanent. So it's a nice way to kind of hold down your delicate stencils, or stencils like this where they don't have kind of a square shape or something like that, and it'll just stay where you want it on your project. Now you can see I'm wanting to come in this with my Bitty Bunny blending brushes, because I want certain colors in certain areas. And if you see a little finger kind of poking right here, that's actually my daughter telling me what colors are where on her beloved betta fish. So she's telling me, oh no, he's red on his fins, he's teal here, he's blue here. So she's she's guiding me as I go coloring this in to make sure I make it in his true likeness. Now, he does have a little bit of brown actually on his face, but I decided to make it purple instead. And guys, I gotta tell you, this is one seriously sassy betta fish, or betta, whatever you want to call it. I know people argue about that, but she has him trained. I didn't know you could train a betta fish, but leave it to my daughter to figure out how to do it. But she first of all trained him to follow a pencil, and then over time she conditioned him to follow the pencil through a hoop. Now he will jump out of the water and get his food off of her finger. So he's the little sassafrassy King Tidal. He's all in his royal glory in his little castle aquarium. But he's a fun fish, and it's been really cool to see my daughter train him, because who knew you could do such a thing. But anyway, he's a cool little fish, and she was so excited when Mary Kay made this stencil after him. So super fun. Anyway, I'm just going to wipe off this residual ink. I'm still leaving that piece in place because I don't want to still ink blend over where we have the detail from the fish, but I am layering up this new Stormy Waves stencil. This is a 6x9, and I'm just kind of coming in along the edges. I'm not really going over the fish, not intentionally anyway, but I do want to add a little bit of interest to the background and kind of give the illusion of waves. So that's what I'm doing here. Now, it is admittedly a little bit of a busy scene, but that's okay. If you don't like that, then maybe just do some regular blue ink blending or leave it white. But here I'm going to pull this back and show all the detail of this awesome stencil. And I think I did a pretty good job capturing his likeness. But I want to do a punny sentiment. So I have this Lawn Fawn stamp set. It says, "You're officially awesome." So you got to throw in a good pun when you can, but I just stamped that down with one of the same colors of ink from my Catherine Pooler set, and I wanted to give it a little something else, so I'm using my corner chomper, and then I will put a foam strip. I do get these little foam strips from Amazon. I will link them in the video description box below with all the other products that I use, but they're the perfect size to go behind little strips like this for your sentiments, and they don't have a whole lot of bulk, so it's a good option, and the price point is really good. I think there's like 500 for $10 or something like that, so really reasonable. But I'm just popping this up on the design here, and then I have these adorable little crystal clear bubbles. These are from Doodles Paper Playground. This is another small woman-owned business that A Colorful Life Designs is actually pairing up with in June for Spread the Sparkle collaboration, so be sure to check out her shop. She has adorable embellishments like this, and then a ton of other sets that she makes, combining to make shaker bits and stuff for cards. So super fun. Be sure to check out her shop. I'll link this as well below the video. But I'm putting down varying sizes of these little drops. They look just like water droplets, so obviously perfect for a water type of scene like this. And I'm using some liquid glue to attach that down in odd numbers. And that's going to finish my card. Super quick, fun, and if you have, you know, a betta fish lover in your life, then you might want to get this stencil because it's a fun one. So thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.